I want to briefly introduce our next speaker. If you happen to follow the subjects of entrepreneurship and certainly health as they relate to gamification, our next speaker has come up also in your research. And this was a few years ago. I was certainly researching early topics in gamification and gamification of health, and I happened upon the case study of a company called NextJump in New York. And NextJump is probably one of the most successful startups that most people have never heard of. The company's been around. It was founded in 1994, right? And today is a significant player in the employee engagement enrichment space. And went and had the pleasure of meeting Charlie Kim, who's the CEO and founder of the company, to find out a little bit more about whether or not the extraordinary stories that NextJump was telling, that Charlie was telling about their ability to motivate and drive employee behavior, particularly as it relates to health and other aspects inside the organization, were actually true. And the extent to which they are true would shock you. It literally makes you go, this company, the organization, the way people interact, the things that they've managed to accomplish at NextJump are just absolutely breathtaking, and this gentleman is one of the most inspirational people today, particularly around this topic. And so it's a really great pleasure for me to welcome up to the stage Charlie Kim.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, buddy. Clicker.
Thank you. So I want to walk you through, and the word gamification is something that we never really used internally until I had met Gabe a couple of years back. We use the word motivation. And I want to talk to you about how we motivated our employee. We have around 200 employees. And what is most challenging in our company about exercise is that they're mostly engineers. 150 of the 200 employees are engineers. And engineers, by just trait and how they grew up, do not exercise and just generally tend not to eat healthy. Now, there's always exceptions, but I'm talking about just in general, they are not very good at exercise. So we took our company, and this is a picture actually just from last week. We ran the JPMorgan Chase Corporate Challenge in New York. Every office runs it. We have an office in San Francisco, New York, Boston, and as well as the UK. And we took the company from 5% of the employees working out regularly to over 80% consistently for the last 2 years. So this is something that, once again, we motivated the company to do this. I'm going to take you through how we did it, which I think will be interesting. The first question I get asked, probably more than anything else, is what is the ROI on all the investments you're making as a company on an employee's exercise, employee's nutrition, making an employee healthier? What is the ROI? So this slide, if you ask the question later on, I'm going to turn back to, so slide 62, I guess, in this line of decks. This is a slide I'm going to refer you back to if you have a question on ROI. Because I don't need to prove ROI in exercise, enough people already have. So when you look in the healthcare industry, there's a lot of research done. But the number one cause of sickness, the number one cause of illness, is actually weight gain. People who are obese, weight gain actually leads to the greatest cause of illness. Number two, a distant number two, is smoking. So quitting smoking is great, but exercise is far more important. And actually, exercise I mentioned, but the solution is exercise and nutrition. You need a combination of both, and that's the only known cure, the only known solution to actually solve obesity, weight gain. And I actually would argue exercise over nutrition, because people who tend to exercise a lot, you don't exercise and then go eat pizza. You don't exercise and start eating candy bars after. Exercise is a precursor, leads you to eat healthier as well. The flip side of why exercise is important in terms of ROI is around human energy. If you are familiar with the work of Jim Lear, Dr. Jim Lear runs an institute in Florida called the Human Performance Institute. He's probably the number one guy in the world who has coached multiple sports athletes, from Michelle Wie to Pete Sampras, all the way down to medical doctors, military professionals. Almost every corporate CEO I know in Fortune 1000 companies have personally been coached by Jim Lear. It's all around exercise, nutrition, sleep, as well as even power of storytelling. He's written the books on powerful engagement. The corporate athlete is a term he coined, a notion he coined. Human performance, human energy If you get more of it, you can perform better. How do you get employees to perform better? You need more energy. Exercise is one of the biggest drivers of that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in ROI because the question you should ask and the goal that we set was how do you get people to exercise? So what companies have tried all over the country? Gyms built in the office, throwing money at it, gift cards, points, prizes. None of it has really worked effectively. Technology startups, what they've done to give more energy to employees, you've got the classic Mountain Dew, the Red Bull, the candy bar, sugar highs and caffeine highs to get higher performance. This is typically what people have tried, and none of it has really worked. So the data speaks for itself. This is the chart graphing the number of workouts we've had in the company. On the x-axis is time, on the y is the number of workouts. And with over 200 employees, we started going way back at around 5% of the employees working out twice a week. And I'll talk to you why twice a week is an important metric we created. And then eventually, over time, we got to over 80% of the company working out twice a week. The data itself is strong, and so I'm going to talk to you more about how we did this. Just really quickly about us, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. If you get a chance, we have our public site for the first time, direct to consumers. Most of the business has been on a B2B basis. We joke around about our overnight 18-year success. I started the company in 1994 in college for a high school sweetheart, and there's a longer story, if you're interested, of how I couldn't pay for my phone bills, and which is why I started the company. So there's a letter on oo.com/CEO that I wrote about why we started, but probably more importantly, why we have the company today. And we run the business with a high degree of purpose, where we believe a company is a vessel to do good. It's a vehicle that has the ability to help a lot of people. So there's an origin story of how we started and all the ups and downs, and what we heard consistently, and what Gabe mentioned, were 16 of the 18 years, we actually stayed in stealth mode, which is unusually long for a company. The last 2 years, we had quite a bit of decent press coverage, and almost every influential person we met out there kept saying, HBS needs to do a case study on NextJump. So if you get a chance, take a look, but I'm going to go right into how we got the company to work out regularly, especially this uphill challenge where most of our employees never even hit the gym in their entire life. So we're talking about the majority of employees who just work out, exercise was not part of the routine, how we did it, and we set a very simple goal. How do we get every NextJumper being every employee, to work out at least 2 times a week minimum in our gyms? We built gyms in our office, and we said we typically work 5 work days. How do we get 2? Even though 3 is better, 4 is better, we said 2 is a minimum threshold. Let's set a simple goal. Every employee should work out twice a week for 20 minutes in our gym every week. So this is the same graph you just saw, and I'm going to walk you through 5 different initiatives. We have many more that we did, and we use the term E&S. So instead of R&D, E&S is experiment and then scale. We have a lot of failed experiments. But let me take you through things we did. The first thing we did is we moved from paying for gym memberships for people to go to the gym to on-site gyms. The second thing we did was creating team play. We created teams. We created teams and we created leaderboards, and it was an engineer who literally just built this, which I'm going to walk you through, and that raised the level of activity or level of workouts higher. We created recognition programs. We used data when things fatigued. You'll see a lot of initiatives do fatigue over time. And then we invested more, once again, back to the core of what we were trying to do. How do you get top performers to perform even better? How do you provide more energy to your top employees? Because that's how we started the entire initiative. It's what we ended up doing towards the end. There's a lot more we're doing than 5 right now, but let me just take you through these 5 in more detail. So the first thing we did was we provided access to the gym to make it more convenient. Now I'll walk you through what worked and didn't work. So going back as far as 1999, we saw a strong correlation between exercise and higher performance in creative or intellectual work. Every time after exercise, it was easier for myself and other employees to attack the most difficult problems in the company. Whether it's a piece of code that you haven't been able to debug, whether it's writing a presentation, writing a proposal, whatever is difficult to do, we found easier to do faster after exercise. And this was a common pattern, so we said, exercise must be good. Let's make sure every employee goes to the gym, and we gave every employee free gym memberships. It did not work. What ended up happening was we found top performers never went to the gym. Bottom performers always went to the gym. And in fact, to the point where I needed them in meetings, and they said, I have a class I have to go to. You bought me the gym membership. I have to go to the gym. Literally, it was the worst thing that happened, and we found that building gyms in the office was literally done for the intent of getting our top performers easy access and making it easier to go 24 hours a day. Then we moved on. And what we found was, even though that worked, it managed to, after initial spike, taper down to 5-10% of the employees consistently working out twice a week. We then worked to say, let's make a competition. We tried prizes, we tried points, we tried cash, we tried everything, and what we found was after the initial jump, it just did not work. So we ended up creating teams, 5 teams globally between all 4 offices. Every employee belonged to a team. And although we added 100,000 points to the winning team that worked out the most every week, and 100,000 WOW points, which is our currency that we built, which is equal to a $1,000 split between the team, it wasn't working enough, and one engineer went and said, it's because nobody knows the score. You need to know how to compete. Nobody knows who's winning, who's not until the end of the week. So they literally went on a weekend and just built an application, which was a live leaderboard where you could see how everyone's doing. Every time you check into the gym, it shows up. It shows every employee down to team how you're doing, how many times you worked out in the week. And we found some great things happened. People who know each other tend to motivate each other better. We also found that the best exercise individuals went and helped the worst. They went and said, I will take you to the gym because they wanted their team to win. So great things happened, and that shot up the results to around 50%. But it kept staying at around 50%. And what we found was what occurs in most programs, perception becomes reality, complacency sits in. And everyone believed you could not cross the 50% threshold. Half your team working out twice a week was the most any team could do, and nobody felt that impossibility bar could be cleared. Well, we created recognition programs in the company for all different things. We have Incredibles Awards for doing incredible things tied to our 7 core values, and we give these Star Wars bobbleheads in our Monday weekly staff meetings. We have Power Ranger Awards for innovating in mundane areas. We give a Power Ranger figurine and $2,000 in your next paycheck, and it's innovation in the most mundane things, but then the highest award we have is the President's Award. The President's Award are these 2 metal steel balls. We call it NextJump BOS for business operating standards, but it really means balls of steel. You broke the ceiling. You did the impossible. And so the first team 1 week got literally 100% of the team to work out twice a week. It was impossible, but they did it. On Monday staff meeting, we zoomed the camera in. The team leader was this guy named John Nellen. We put him on screen, and we gave him the President's Award. 2 metal balls of steel, as well as $10,000 in your next paycheck. He took the money, he built T-shirts for his team called Team Nellen, and next thing you know, some really great things started to happen. So this was the next couple weeks. As soon as that happened, Tuesday, you see the workout percentage of the employees that worked out twice a week. By Wednesday, by Thursday, and then by Friday, we had multiple weeks where literally every single employee in that company worked out twice a week. Now, for a company our size, mostly with engineers, this is a staggering stat by any means. I didn't believe it myself. But then what happened, of course, was eventually as the game keeps going, or the competitions keep going, things always fatigue out. And what started to happen is that basically losing teams felt they could never win. And this is a game, I'm a big fan of the Red Sox. If you're a Yankees fan, Yankees suck, and we all know that, right? So in the field of Red Sox, in this case, when you're being beaten 11-1, you can't win. People give up. So losing teams kept giving up and said, it's unfair. We tried pep talks. Oh my God, you saw it before. You could win. They didn't believe it. So what we did was we had an engineer who said, I'm going to use the data we've collected, years of data, people checking in, and created a simple algorithm called FitRank. FitRank was basically an algorithm that calculated how many times you went to the gym, how consistent you were, and every employee in the company got a FitRank. We reorged the teams based on FitRank, so every team was more competitive. Next thing you know, the results started to pick back up. The next thing we did, and coming back to the original core of investing more in your top people, we found that no matter what happened, and especially in the busier holiday windows, top people still prioritized work over exercise. Now, for most CEOs, you're thinking, fantastic, right? I want my top employees to prioritize work over exercise above anything, but at the same time, when you exercise, you can get more out of your top people. We wanted them to go more often, and they kept not going. So what we did was we invested in creating scheduled workouts. A scheduled workout like a meeting is easier to keep, especially when we had gyms on site as well. We hired 20 personal trainers as consultants and staff, but not just anybody, the best of the best. We hired the guy who coached A-Rod from the New York Yankees. We hired one of the top Pilates instructors in the country. We hired the Hungarian national ping pong champion to coach our employees in ping pong. Everybody wanted training sessions, but training sessions was given in a hierarchy. Every month we have top 10 employees of the company. If you're voted by the company, you get free training sessions. Every 6 months, we have a group called MB21. It's the 21 leaders voted by the company. They got priority to training sessions first. You're seeing at the bottom a chart of one of our employees, Lokia. No workouts after the holidays, and literally with training sessions, it shot up. One of our engineers got got training sessions with a ping pong champion and said, thanks so much for this opportunity to learn from a world champion. Unbelievable stories for the future. By the way, Gotham, I should give a plug, worked with Justin to build a mem cube. So if it crashed, it was probably the work Justin did, not Gotham, but Gotham's an excellent engineer. What's happening next for us? We are taking our platform. We managed employee discount programs, was where our history came from, for over 90,000 different businesses, 70% of the Fortune 1000. We're rolling the platform out to all our clients. We always believed in the notion of dog fooding. If you won't eat it yourself, you can't give it to your clients. So we dog fooded the whole product for many years. Internally, we're in the process of rolling this out to clients. We also built this virtual currency, and we found this notion of cash rewards we found not work, but bizarrely, points done right really works. We built a currency called Wow Points. It took us literally 10 years to build the currency aspect of the business, and the currency started on the bottom left corner, focused on incenting shopping behavior, but quickly got used for incenting smoking cessation, fitness classes, recognition awards. It's being used by all our different clients. So just to end really quick, a couple testimonials which I love. One of the first ones, you get this right, from one of our employees. I used to get sick frequently. After starting to exercise regularly, I noticed I hardly ever get sick. And that's common in every study done. The quality of my sleep is much better. I find that I fall asleep quickly, sleep well, and wake up refreshed. I used to work a 9-to-5 job and be exhausted by afternoon. At NextJump, even after a 10-hour day, I feel energized and focused throughout the day. And mind you, we have countless stories of employees losing 30, 40 pounds of weight. We have employees gaining 30, 40 pounds of muscle, success stories in every metric you look at. Here's another one. I found that working out in a gym promotes community and collaboration with colleagues that you normally would not interact with. Our head of wellness, she's gone to a lot of different conventions and conferences, and they said no matter who I spoke to about NextJump, they could not believe how ahead of the curve we are. They all mentioned that we are running a program akin to a sports team. And this is my favorite here, because I have around hundreds of letters from moms of our employees. And this is one of the moms who said the fitness center, nutritionists, classes, and competition form a comprehensive, impressive program. We know the program is working. My son is twice the man he used to be. The number one thing I've seen as a payback to what we did here, I have more moms who love me to death, of every employee. When your mom calls, she asks you, Are you sleeping? Are you eating well? Are you exercising? Are you being healthy? Our moms care about our health. Our employees' moms love me. For that alone, I think it's worth doing. Thank you.
Awesome. Sure, I'll take it from you. So, I mean, you're obviously, Charlie, your passion, your commitment, questions from folks if you want, your passion, your commitment to this topic, unparalleled, unprecedented. So exciting to hear you and see the results at NextJump. Okay, it sounds though like a lot of work and a lot of investment. And without talking about ROI, if you had to choose like one of the things that you did to say this is the number one thing that I would do to get my employees moving, energized, engaged, what would that be?
For exercise.
Yeah, let's say for exercise.
So I would say, think about fantasy sports. Make teams. And we're actually building a product so you can create 10-person teams and basically start, but have a leaderboard because you need to be able to see the score. If you ever go bowling and you can never actually see the score and never see the pins, it's impossible to adjust and fix and get better. The leaderboard literally helped the best workout individuals to go help the worst because you can see every week who's not working out, and they partner together on their own. So expose and make transparent what's happening.
Okay, great. We have time for this one question. Go right ahead.
Thank you. That was really cool. I was just curious, actually, how people report what they do in the gym. So my first question is, like, is it self-reporting? And if so, can you trust what they're reporting? And secondly, does it matter? Does it matter what they're doing as long as they're going?
So I think to some degree, it doesn't really matter exactly as long as there's intent to go work out. But at the same time, when you work in a community of people, first, if you make the prize $100,000 given a week, I bet you people are going to cheat and find every way to do all kinds of crazy things. So the prize isn't that big. 100,000 points, which is $1,000 split between a team that's broken into the entire company, isn't that much money. But what we found was, and so we've done things where every gym says you have to work out 20 minutes minimum or else don't check in. And if you're caught cheating, right, it's grounds for termination, it's grounds for humiliation. And we've put all kinds of things, but generally speaking, over time, norms set in and people actually do the right thing. People do the right thing, and where we've seen the program go wrong is when the game became more important than the notion of exercise, and we've seen things almost work too well, where there are periods where we've had the entire company work out over 4 times a week. It's too much in my view. We have work to do, we're not actually a fitness club. Right. And I've been told by people even walking in today, you're the fitness guy. It's not what we do for a business.
Although in all fairness, most fitness clubs would be enthusiastic to have your stats in terms of usage,
True.
I think.
That's very true.
Thank you so very much, Charlie. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.